Shalom, family. It's good to see you all. Shalom to you. All right. No, I just wanted to. Oh, it's good to see never mind. I gotta hold on. Let me turn this one off. There we go. There we go. Now we're in business. All right, y'all. I just wanted to give you an update, and I will be coming back Friday to post videos. I found out quite a few of my family members died. And I went to 2 live streams of funerals, and I got another live stream family member on this coming Tuesday. All 9 of my family members that died were all Black men. All 9 were Black men. And some was illness, but the majority of the deaths, y'all, were gun violence. That's what the majority was. In Florida, I had 5 cousins that all died due to gun violence. And it's just been a crazy year. It has. I'm gonna show you a few things. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can get this up. Let me see if I can find that article. A couple of their deaths actually made the news. Let me see if I can pull these up for you. Let me see. Okay, here it is. Let's see if I can pull these over here. Okay, that's one. And this is, I think I can show you that one. Okay, that's one. Let's see. All right. See on here. All right, I can show you the story of what happened, and I'll show you the other one. I thought I had, let me see. I know I got this. Come on, I just emailed it to myself. Okay. I think this is the one where they spelled this name wrong. Okay. I don't know why his picture is not coming up anymore, but that's okay. I can still show you. And this one is Stedman, right? Yeah, that here. Here's the story. All right, y'all, I'm going to share my screen. I can go over a few of these with you. All right, let me share. Okay, I'm ready. All right, if you can see my screen, please give me a 1. Please give me a 1, y'all. Okay. All right. Let me start with this one. All right. I had a cousin that lived up in Lowell, Massachusetts. And on the 22nd of October, it was October 22nd at 6:15 p.m. He was a chef. That's what he did for a living. He stepped out of his vehicle and he was gunned down. And his death is still under investigation. This article came out in Lowell Sun. His name was Stedman. I'll show you what Stedman looked like. My cousin. This is him right here. This is Stedman. And as you can see, he didn't live long. He was born in 91 and he was killed on October 22nd, 30 years old. Senseless death up there. So they live streamed the funeral, because funerals are very different now during the pandemic. So just immediate family was there, and the rest of the family, we've been just going on live stream to watch it. So most of, these are out of state, and because they're out of state, that's the only way I can watch these right now is out of state. So Stedman was, I mean, he had his whole life ahead of him, and look at what happened. He played piano, he played the drums, and he loved to cook, and he became a chef, went to culinary school and everything, and was a very good cook. So, but he's gone at the age of 30, and according to the article, his death is still under investigation. All right. This one actually happened back in May, and I just didn't say anything about it. My cousin, Brian, was married to this woman that you see in this picture. They got into an argument one morning. He turned and walked away from her. She picked a gun up and shot him 4 times in the back of the head, and she killed him. Now, at first, she tried to claim self defense, but how is it self defense if somebody's walking away? It's just like the senseless things that we say about police officers shooting black men in the back and then talk about they feared for their life. If somebody is moving away from you and they are clearly walking away from you, that ain't no fucking self defense. So she is in jail, y'all. She probably won't ever get out for the rest of her life now. But you know that saying, never make a hoe your housewife? Well, that's the fatal mistake he made. He took a hoe and made her a housewife. And he lost it. Yes, she shot him in the head 4 times. The article is right there for anybody to read. She shot him in the head 4 times. And he was clearly, even the coroner's office, after they did an autopsy, they said he was definitely walking away from her. And yeah, she put 4 bullets in his head. So he's gone. And I mean, all of these are young men. You know how the men carry the family name? I got 9 members of my family that won't even get to carry the family name now. Yes, Brian had 2 children, a boy and a girl, and they're both very young. So yes, there were children. Yes. So that's what burnt the most is the senseless way all 9 died. Now, my cousin that I'm about to see on his funeral on live stream, he's down in Atlanta. And what happened to him this past Sunday, he got up. They said he was fine. He got out of the bed, took a shower, got dressed, did everything that he would normally do, on a Sunday morning. And shortly after, he had a massive heart attack and died. He was 60 years old. Now, his funeral announcement is online, but I don't know why the funeral home, I don't know if they didn't have a photo of him, but they did not post a photo. So, that's the next live stream I'll be going on with my other family members. Yeah, it is young. It is. It is. So it's been a tearful week on, talking to my family on the phone. We've had a good cry, and it doesn't make sense. I in my entire life, I don't think I've ever had this amount of family members die like this in 1 year. Never, never, you know, and it's sad to see the young people go, and you got the old people, many of them, in my family got all sorts of health problems, and they're still hanging in there and are young or being wiped out. So I think it would have been easier if these deaths were COVID. I think it would have been easier for me to handle. But the fact that the majority are gun violence, that hurts. It hurts deeply. It really does. And I'm not gonna lie, I miss y'all too. After being off of here for a few days, I miss y'all. I miss you so badly. And I said, okay, I think the best way for me to heal is to get back to my life. The longer I sit around and keep thinking about this over and over, it just makes me sad. I just stay in this sad state, but if I just push on and just keep living my life, I think I can heal from it a lot faster. I even noticed that with my parents dying, you know, the longer I sat around, the more depressed I became. But when I started getting back to my life, I started healing from it eventually, you know, and that's what I just have to do. I think we all just grieve differently and we all can move on from it differently too. But I don't know. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to really grieve a death. I think you just have to do it in your own way. It is sad. It is sad. And I did read a lot of what you guys posted, and I'm deeply touched. And it just makes me appreciate each and every one of you even more. It really does. So, Lori Salter, thank you so much for the super sticker. Yeah, I mean, these things happen. But you know what, y'all? It kind of brought a reality to me also. All of my cousins that passed on, y'all, one thing that's very distinctive that I noticed, they were all in the Baptist church. My family is still clinging to white Jesus and, that whole 9 yards, they're still clinging to that. And it was really apparent when you have to grieve through this because they're still talking about white Jesus healing them and white Jesus that. And one of my cousins and my aunt when I was talking to them, it was my cousin that passed away, his mother. We were talking on the phone, and they have not even gone to church now since the lockdown. Their church was one of the ones that never came back. You'd be shocked. A lot of these churches never reopened again. Some did, some did not. Their church never reopened. So what they do every Sunday is they do virtual church online. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, if you got a result to virtual church, you know, look, we do the live streams online, but it's, for our Bible study, for the Most High, right? But we've always done it that way. Now, they went from sitting in a physical church to doing virtual church online, and they, send their money through Cash App and PayPal to the pastor and all that. And I'm thinking to myself, if your Jesus is so mighty and so powerful, you should still be going to church and sitting there. Look at how your whole life had to be changed during that lockdown, and you can't even go back in the church. They still are not back there months later. And then I got another cousin. In fact, I spoke to him this morning to get the live stream link from him so I can log in next Tuesday. And he was saying they're still doing parking lot church. And I'm like, you're going in a parking lot for church? They're going into a parking lot every Sunday. The pastor is standing outside to give his sermon on a mic and speaker, and they're still passing the collection plate around in the parking lot, and they're just chucking it up. They think it's the coolest thing. And I'm like, that ain't cool. That's really pretty crappy. But hey, it is what it is. This is what they're doing down there. So, you know, I I have to even accept the fact that the Most High is not going to take my whole family. That's a reality I have to accept. I have to accept it. I mean, these folks are not going to change. That's one thing I did notice through this whole thing. They're not going to change, y'all. You can prophesize to some of these Christians, and you're not going to get through to them. You're not. And I have tried to prophesize to some of my family members, and they still get right on up and go to church. And some of them will know, yeah, I know where those Hebrews in the Bible, I know, but they still cling to Christianity. They're going to always be in turmoil because of that. And they don't know how, it just made me realize how much, when it comes down to religion, how corrupt even my own family is. I have to come to terms with that, y'all. I really do. I have to come to terms with my family. After this world, I may not see many of them again because they keep clinging to Christianity. Um, Barbara Bryant, thank you so much for the super chat. You've been there for us. For me, I want to say thank you for your wisdom and services to Yahshua. All praises to the Most High. Thank you so much for your kind words and um, the super chat. I do appreciate you too, Barbara. I really do. Look, y'all. You know what? I think part of my time was grieving, and I'm still, I guess, in a sense, grieving for the family that is part of the two-thirds. And some of them I love. Some of my cousins, like I told y'all, when I was growing up, we were so close, we were like siblings. And even they are lost. So yes, I had plenty of tears for my 9 male cousins that all are in the grave. And then I guess the Most High let me see I'm still grieving for the family that I know will always be lost to religion. So those were the two things I have to come to terms with. And it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And I know it's not going to change. Yeah. See, Michelle, it's nothing wrong with doing Bible study online. We got to do the best that we can to learn. We really do, and all of us are different. All of us are different. Now, for example, my son, he will read the Bible, but he also enjoys listening to different audiobooks, especially, history. He will listen to a lot of different audiobooks that are online, and he really enjoys it and he gets a lot out of it. So, I mean, we all have to listen and learn, and some of us will read and learn, but we're all very different in how we absorb different information. You just do it whatever's the most comfortable way for you to do it, that's the way you do it. Delmonte green beans, Miss Cabrera, the way you explain certain things have me rolling. Oh, okay. Thank you for the super chat. Well, I got some that are clearly preparing to celebrate the Thanksgiving. And for the life of me, I don't understand why any black man or woman on this planet would want to celebrate Thanksgiving when the entire holiday is based on genocide, you know? And these folks never change. They never ever change what they do. The same people that they came on this land mass and killed back then are the same ones they kill today, and that is us. If you can't see that by now, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. These folks didn't change. They killed our forefathers that look just like us. That's why to this very day there is one group of people that they kill on this planet more than anyone else, and that is us. They don't ever change. It even tells you about that Esau, he don't change. They don't change anything. But see, they're trying to make you believe that mulatto looking Indian is the one they were killing. They don't even kill them like that to this very day. You don't see them killing up those natives that they got on the reservations like you see them killing us. It's like day and night. So you know damn well what they're telling us couldn't possibly be true. It couldn't be true. And if we are the original man and woman on the planet, then there is no other group that came after us that could supersede us. They couldn't. They can't. Okay? So we had to be in greater numbers of any population that was here. That's just my opinion. We had to be. Just like we're in greater numbers to this very day. You would have to be a fool to believe these people when they say we're 13% of the population. You would have to be a fool to believe them. You would have to be a fool to believe them when they say we are the original man and woman on the planet, but we have been nothing but slaves. You would have to be a fool to believe that. Okay. I remember when I first heard that from them when I was a kid, I didn't even believe it then. In fact, I even told my mother, I don't believe them when they say we were nothing but slaves on this planet. I don't believe them. And what have they not lied about? Okay. You know how you hear something and spiritually, you automatically know you're hearing a lie. That's how it was when I was a child listening to them talking like that. Y'all were nothing but I said, spirit on a spiritual level, I knew I was listening to a lie. I just knew it. Donovan Ben Judah, thank you so much for the super chat. So sorry for your great loss. We may not understand, I'm sure, Our Most High is up to something, and it's for our good. Um, yeah, you're right. You're right. I have to agree with that. When I saw this, one of the things I had to say to myself, I said, these men in my family are not being protected spiritually. And, like I said, that Baptist church is deeply grained in my relatives. Even my cousin Stedman that I showed you, my cousin Ronald is a minister and his wife is a deaconess, and their son was gunned down in the streets. Okay. I mean, being a Baptist did not protect Stedman. It didn't. It didn't protect him at all. All right, let's see. Okay, it was another one. Okay, sure. All right. Little feather. Yes, you're right. All those pyramids in Mexico, South America, Peru, Guatemala were our ancestors. Yes, it is. And don't you find it strange that there's history on everybody on this planet except for us? That's how I know everything is a big lie that we're being told. Everything is. It would have to be. It would have to be. I still remember sitting in church, y'all, as I believe I must have been either in kindergarten or the first grade. And I was sitting next to my mother in church. And the pastor was doing a sermon, and it was in Deuteronomy. And I specifically remember, I don't remember what verses, but I remember I turned to my mother and I said, I believe those people in the Bible was us. And my mother turned and looked at me and said, a lot of people believe that. Now, if I could pick up on that as little and as young as I was, I could not have been the only person at that time that picked up on that as a child. I'm sure many of you did, especially if you were going to church. You probably heard those verses and said to yourself, well, a lot of that stuff is happening to us now. That's how it was clicking for me. Goddess Tamara X Hal, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. I mean, come on. I can't be the only one that saw that. Salome Perry, thank you so much for the super sticker. I mean, I can't be the only one that heard those Bible verses as a child and you knew something was up. It wasn't adding up. And I also remember the day I was with my mother and I said, "How come Jesus is white and he was the most perfect being on earth, right? He was perfect. But the people that he looked like don't act nothing like that." And I remember asking my mother that too. I said, how come this white Jesus was such a perfect person, but the people that look like him, they're evil. They're not nice. They're mean. They're racist. They're hateful. What the hell is going on? Something ain't adding up. Now, like I said, if I could pick up on that as a child, you can best believe I couldn't have been the only one that picked up on that. Come on. I mean, I thought I was fairly smart, but I knew I wasn't at brilliant level, but I certainly knew something was up. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, you and when you watch these Slave movies, and it came to mind again when I was watching Roots. I remember that was like a big deal back in the day when it first hit the air. We were watching Roots. I didn't miss one episode that came on. It came on every day for a week, right? And I remember watching how these slave owners were to the slaves. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, how are these people the descendants of white Jesus, and you're telling me he's all about love and look at how they're acting? These people ain't about no damn love. Where are you getting this shit from? And I thought about that even when I was watching Roots and thinking to myself, these people ain't like this white Christ that they put in front of us. And it almost became laughable. It did. It almost became laughable even back then. But see, now what are we looking at? We're looking at these folks fighting against the real history being told, talking about it's going to impact their children. Well, wait a minute. You didn't care that you were indoctrinating our children in this country since they could go to school. At what era did they not indoctrinate our children and trying to make you accept a subservient role in this country? You know, when have they not done that to us? And all of us have seen how these teachers act towards us. They don't treat us the same way in those classes like they do white children. All of us have witnessed that. Every last one of us have. So you mean to tell me you get to do this to our children, but when it comes down to yours, your children are too precious to be told the truth? Yeah, whatever. Whatever. You don't know. Many of these people better start picking up Bibles, because at the end, because we're in the end, we're in the home stretch now. At the end, there is no children that Esau got that's going to be spared. Okay. There is no children that are going to be spared, and they'll see that soon enough. They will see it soon enough. How the hell do you put our children through hell, but yours will be spared? Does that even make any common sense to someone? That doesn't even make common sense. And a lot of the things they're telling you ain't even in the Bible. Oh, they're going to be raptured away. They won't be here. Where is that in the Bible? Where is that in the Bible that the house of Esau is going to be raptured away while the rest of us are stuck here dealing with the hell and the fallout? Where is that prophesied? These people are resorting to lying. They are resorting to telling lies to each other. And, you know, mm, I'm sorry, but I don't really feel bad for them. Maybe some people do. I don't. I don't feel bad that they're being fed lies, because at the end of the day, who's feeding them lies? People that look just like them. That's where they're getting their lies from. People that look just like them. Sure can't put it on us. That's for sure. And I got an upcoming update on Jenna Ryan. Jenna Ryan is going to jail. They just gave her sentence today, but it's a feather light sentence, 60 days in jail. And it's because she was running her big mouth online talking about she couldn't go to jail because she's white and blonde and has a job and a future. And well, I guess they pulled the wind out of her lungs, because she will be going to jail and serving her little 60 days in jail. You know damn well, if any black woman up in here would have incited violence and did exactly what she did up at that Capitol, being all gleeful about the violence online, you would be in jail for years. You would be in jail for years. Okay? You wouldn't be getting no 60 days. So the way I see it, she's still getting off real easy. The way I see it. But I'll have that story for y'all around 3:30 today. Del Monte green beans. Let me see what this says here. Would you say that those of us who realize that what the scriptures say, are we going through the repair phase, but on a slow drip per se? And counter to us, Esau's time is being dismantled by his own hand, live and in color. Yes. I think what's going on, I think it's overwhelming to a sense because we're looking at an ending of a kingdom and a beginning, and it's happening simultaneously at the same time, you know? So i I think it looks slow to us because Esau is still getting up and acting like their rulership has not ended, and it has. But in time, it's going to sink in for them too. They're not going to be able to see, they're in this state of denial, but they're not going to be able to stay in that state of denial because if you notice, nothing is getting better for them. We Since that lockdown, they have been struggling to keep up with this society, and this society is just not coming back, and it's not gonna come back. In fact, I came across an article this morning that said even more people are preparing to leave their jobs. Even more people are looking to resign. Not only in November, but the upcoming months. They're trying to leave. So when you got a mass of people leaving all at the same time, that means there's less money circulating in the economy. And if there's less money in the economy that you have not been able to bring back at all, you have no chance of this place recovering even in 2022. There's no way you can rebound. How are you going to rebound? And these schools are opening and closing. Some of these schools are not even able to give a sufficient meal to the children. I mean, it's a mess. It is really truly a mess in America. It's a mess. Yeah, I mean, and some of them are still under this illusion that this place eventually will come back. No, it won't. No, it won't. And just look at the place. All it took was one lockdown. That was it to bring this place to their knees. And they haven't been able to get off of their knees ever since. But you notice not only the mood of the country has changed, don't you realize even our mood and attitude towards things have changed? Even that's changed. I notice many of us, when we see these things happening, immediately y'all will say, well, their time is up. And you're absolutely right. Look at the kind of spirit that's on us. We recognize and can see what's going on. But that's how it's supposed to be. Those of us that woke up, if you notice, the Most High woke us up years before we got to this point. Many of you, you woke up years before we got here. Now that we're here, that's the spirit on us. Well, this is the end. This is the end. But see, they're just starting to wake up and see, okay, we opened up the place and everything's not back. Why isn't everything back? Wait a minute. We thought when we knocked you all off of unemployment, this economy would come back. It's not coming back. Y'all, it must have been Saturday, I believe, our local ShopRite didn't have any meat. They didn't have no meat. And let me tell you something, I have never seen a supermarket around here ever where you could walk in there, get your cart, and there's no meat. There was no meat. Okay. I had, everything in the cart was non-meat items that I had, and and I'm sitting there, I still couldn't get over it. Well, what had happened was apparently their truck did not deliver the meat to the supermarket. Now, I was able to get some, but it was at a different supermarket. But the one that I normally go to, they didn't have no meat. didn't have no they didn't have no meat. And I just had to laugh because it's the sign of the times. What your Walmart did yeah, and some people said they couldn't even find bread. I was talking to some of my relatives and they were saying, and some weeks they couldn't even find a loaf of bread. And then you got all that cargo that's backed up at these ports all over the country. You got your biggest port, the port of Los Angeles. And that stuff, some of that stuff has been sitting there well beyond 6 months. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. CH464, thank you so much for the super chat. Lisa, half of these Beckys are bottled blonde. You're right. There's one at my job that is champagne blonde. You can definitely tell it's bottled, and she tries to act like she's better than all of us. Yeah, well, you know what? What else does she really have? Her people don't have too much going on anymore. That's why a lot of times when we're telling them, and thank you for the super chat, a lot of times when we're telling them it's the end, you notice they're not fighting you on it. They're not even trying to put up a fight that it's really the end for them. Many of them know what's going on, y'all. Many of them do. They know that this world has changed, and it's that change is heavily impacting them. It ain't but so much you can keep ignoring. It is heavily impacting them, and they know it. And just the whole spirit of America, it is not that white patriotism, rah, rah, rah. You notice that's fizzling out real fast. Before that was going strong. My country, my country. You know how they always talk, my country, my country. Yeah, you notice you ain't even hearing that like you used to. Okay, you're not even hearing that like you used to. So yeah, it's changing and it's going to continue to change, y'all. So just be prepared for anything. Those of you that are my paid subscribers, Patreon members and channel members, I actually got plans to do videos with you for this upcoming season for gardening. I got a lot of good information to provide you. So if you are a paid member, you're going to be getting those notifications, and we're going to be going over how to grow your fruits and vegetables, and what it takes to have a healthy garden, because each fruit and vegetable actually requires a different type of care. You just have to know what that is. Like some plants, you don't have to water as much and they will thrive, and then other plants will require a lot more water. So we'll be going over that as well. That's what I intend on doing this year. Yeah, I mean, look at the state that this government is in, and look at how many people had this expectation that Joe Biden was going to be way better than Trump. You don't see none of that stuff. You don't see any of it. Joe Biden is him and Kamala, boy, you couldn't have more sucky people involved during a crisis. You couldn't you could not have asked for two worse people to be in charge during a crisis. But this is the truth, y'all. I worked around these people like many of you have. When it comes down to a major crisis, they are no good at a crisis. They are no good at it. And the proof is the last 18 plus months of dealing with this epidemic. We have not seen any improvement in anything. It has actually gotten worse as we go along. They can't get a hold of this thing. And their solution is to give you a whole pile of needles, two jab scenes for this, another jab scene, and then another one. And next thing you know, you're gonna have to take about 20 jab scenes before the damn year is out. That is not gonna work. It's not even working. When y'all get a chance, pull up Vermont. In Vermont, I believe over 80% of the population got the jab scene. You can pull this up. I want y'all to go out there and look at this. Over 80% of the population in Vermont got the jab scene. They are right now getting their asses handed to them from Delta. They are getting their asses handed to them and they're upset. They were like, wait a minute. We went out there and got these jab scenes and what's going on? We're getting slammed. They are getting slammed, y'all. They getting slammed with the with CV. It is kicking their ass. And that right there proves that damn near the majority of your population in a state can have it. It does not spare you from the pain. It don't spare you from the hospitalizations. It don't spare you from getting it and spreading it. And it don't spare you from the death. But if you get a chance, just look up Vermont. Because those folks up there, they are extremely upset. They are extremely upset right now. And if you notice, they don't have that nowhere near in mainstream news at all. They don't have that in mainstream news, but it is out there if you look for that story. It is out there. And it does not help that you got a people in charge that can't handle reality and you're going through a pandemic. That doesn't help nobody at all either. Okay, because now you have no choice but to look for answers yourself, answers that they're never ever going to give you about this whole thing. So just hang in there, y'all. It's going to be bumpy for all of us leading into the future. It made this whole thing with my family made me realize I better be prepared because more is coming in these last days. More. And I mean, what are the chances of all these deaths happening, not only on my mother's side, but my father's side of the family too? All happening simultaneously. There's a reason for this. And like I said, I have to come to terms with my family not all making it. If I don't come to terms with that, then I'm going to be just crying and being depressed through this whole thing. And I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm going to miss my family members, but I'm still among them. I'm not dead. I'm still among the living. And as long as I'm among the living, I got to just keep moving on. You know, remember, it's only a remnant of us. And that's really the truth. It is really the truth, you know? But it has been rough, believe me. Um, and MTF gang, I have grieved. I don't think I think the last time I grieved this hard, it was for my parents when they passed on. And just hearing about so many gone and so many men gone in the family that won't even get to pass their name on to offspring. Now, some of them did have children, but not all of my cousins that died had children. The one I showed you, Stedman, he did not have children. He didn't have any children, and he wasn't married. Well, thank you. Thank all of you. Thank you for taking the time, for leaving so many kind words. And those of you that gave me chap, Cash App and Patreon members that left condolences and also PayPal donations. Thank you so much for all of that. It's deeply appreciated. It's just been difficult for me to come and respond. Once you get past 100,000 people, it's almost impossible to respond to everything. It's really quite overwhelming. So, y'all, we'll be coming back together. Brew Queen Yisrael, thank you so much for the super sticker. So we'll be coming back together at 3:30 today to go over Jenna Ryan and the verdict that she received today. So, I mean, it's quite funny, that she was so boastful about her white privilege, and she was certain no jail was coming her way. It's almost comical what happened to her. So, everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day. And again, I'll see you at 3:30. And thank you so much. I deeply appreciate each and every one of you. Shalom, family.